Hello, Scrappy friends! I'm so excited today because I have another layout share to show you. I have been working so hard on this one and I absolutely love how all of the layouts came out. And this is the Deeper in the Woods collection. And I've made two sets of layouts, one using my quick and cute method and the other using my playful and polished method. And just to make sure we're really clear, I do use complete separate packs of materials. So in the quick and cute set, I used one pack of designer paper and one pack of stickers. And other than that, I just brought in some cardstock and a few minor tools. But with the playful and polished, I use more of the buy it all bundle. So whatever was in the original buy it all bundle, which is a designer paper pack, a textured paper pack, embellishments and stickers, and these have some fabulous embellishments. I think you're gonna really like them. And then there was one border punch released with the buy it all bundle, which was the evergreen tree. So that you'll see in the playful and polished layouts. So let me divide up my layouts and I'll be right back, and we'll start off with the quick and cute. So here's layout number one in the quick and cute set, and I think that this one kind of appears to be a little bit harder than it really is. And that's what I love about the quick and cute, because I kind of have to challenge myself to make layouts that are different but yet still have easy cuts to them. So you'll see we have a half of a frame here with this wood grain down here, and then a triangle design with the green sprigs and the plaid. Then I brought in a journaling spot and a title, and I did bring in one tool. You'll see it back here. It's part of our custom cutting system that is a rectangle. And other than that, brought in a few stickers and a few pops of foam, and then that's the layout. So here's layout number two in the quick and cute, and this one, again, I feel like it looks a lot harder than it really is. It's all about how we use the pattern paper and just putting in little splashes of it here and there, making sure that both pages correspond to each other in some way. So I did that by bringing in the same pattern paper here and here, but with this acorn paper here, I just made sure I had brown on the other side, and then a pop of the yellow leaf paper as well. I ran some border stickers across the top. Again, I brought in what I like to call an investment tool. This is the double Rick-Rack border making cartridge. I think it's a perfect little pop and just adds a little something. It's very narrow. If you don't have the Rick-Rack, you can certainly leave that out or bring in something else that's thin and very generic. Then I brought in over here a long journaling area using the 3-in-1 beveled tag punch. I love that punch. I want to bring it in whenever I can, and here I created a cute and long journaling area. And then, of course, you'll see I brought in some more stickers from the sticker pack. Here's layout number three, and I actually have a process video for this here on YouTube. You can go into my playlist called Quick and Cute. I did this as a live workshop Wednesday on Facebook, and then I edit it and bring it over here to YouTube. So you want to ever see a sneak peek on what I'm creating for my quick and cute and my playful and polished, I usually try and do at least one video for each one. And I love this border right here. I used just a pop of the striped paper and then tucked it underneath some hot fudge cardstock that has been trimmed with a trimmer blade. So very simple techniques. Another investment punch, the circle punch was used. And then again, I brought in the custom cutting system to create this embellishment cluster back here. Other than that, I'm very happy. I got 8 photos on this page and a little spot for journaling over here where I use some write-on strips. You could tuck in a little journaling card there if you prefer, or just handwrite right onto the layout. Again, another quick and cute layout. For layout number 4, and I do have 5 layouts in the quick and cute set. I try and get 5 in each set, but stay tuned till the end because in the playful and polished, I do have a bonus layout this time. So here's layout number 4 for Quick and Cute. Again, it's all about how we bring in the different pattern papers and layer them up. That really gives this layout a pop. It's basically just some strips of paper. I have 3 strips running vertically down and then 1 strip running horizontally across both pages, which I gave it a paper tear because I just love that look, especially for outdoor layouts. I feel like it's a little bit rugged and it really helps to kind of bring that mood of being outdoors into our layout. I have some photo blocks, 1 on each side. This one holds 3, this one holds 2. It gives us a mix of vertical and horizontal photos. I have 1 spot here. I feel like this would be maybe our focal photo, the one we want to highlight. So I gave it its own spot here. Again, just bringing in some border stickers and some stickers from the sticker pack. Now, one note, I do have to get really creative because I'm splitting up all the stickers among 5 layouts. So here you'll see this is actually a border sticker that I've trimmed down and then I've popped it in different areas. That way I could bring in more of those outdoor elements to my layout. I love this one. I just love all the different pattern papers, and yet my focus is still on the photos. Sometimes when we get to the 5th layout, you're kind of running with just the scraps of all the other layouts, which I feel is so much fun to do. It's kind of like putting a puzzle together, trying to figure out how can you make a beautiful layout with the leftover pieces. But this one, I don't think it looks like leftovers. I had some nice big strips, so I just brought them in. I put 1 going vertical and 1 going horizontal. And then I had some other large strips where I just cut them into a banner. You know, this is a go-to design for me, is some banners, which I then put going this direction and then coming down over here as well. I also like to have fun in the Quick and Cute layouts as to how I'm going to conquer the journaling. So you saw that I've created my own journaling spot with some lined paper and some cardstock. I also used the write-on strips. This time I brought in more lined paper. I almost always will be using lined paper in all my Cute and Quick designs because it's a very efficient an inexpensive way to get a journaling spot onto our layout. And here I just cut it into a circle to match the other circle elements that I have on this page already. Backed it with some cardstock. The circles, of course, are used with the Creative Memories circle custom cutting templates, just using different blades and different size circles. Again, I brought in some of the stickers from the sticker sheet, and I'm still using that tree border sticker and kind of cutting it and spreading it across the layouts. This is the last layout in the Quick and Cute set, and there were still some stickers left to be used for other projects. You'll also notice with this set I used beige as my background. I felt like beige was such a better complement to the background than white. It just brought in that feeling of being outdoors and in the woods. Let me put this one away and get ready for Playful and Polished. Okay, here's layout number 1 in the Playful and Polished. So let me reiterate that with the Playful and Polished, I used a brand new designer paper pack, but I also brought in the textured paper pack. So you're going to see like some pops of these different textured papers throughout all 6, that's right, 6 layouts in this set. I had lots of options and there is some paper left over so you can still create more layouts. And when it comes to the Playful and Polished, I bring in more tools. I even will dip into tools that Creative Memories has had out in the past because I know a lot of you already have them. For example, the owl punch. This is a Build-A-Punch, super cute. I love adding these little woodsy characters to my layouts, but if that's not your thing, you just wouldn't have to make that. You can use something else and add it to your layout instead. There was a few stickers left over that you can pop up and make a bigger embellishment cluster there. Also with the Playful and Polished sets, I sometimes have prep work that I list out in the cutting guide. And so making the owls, I would have you make a few of them at once so that when you're getting to your layout, you would just pull from your already pre-made embellishments. I do the same thing with like the trail sign punch. I'll have you punch out a few of those. And the evergreen trees, you'll see here I tucked in, I'm not using the whole border punch, but I am tucking in some little trees back here. So this is layout number 1. It's a band design with a few added elements. I brought in a border making cartridge up here at the top. I brought in the custom cutting templates here for a photo and here for some embellishment cluster areas. I brought in one of those gorgeous frames that we get in the embellishment pack. These frames are just so big and beautiful. I had to get a couple of them in on these layouts. And then down here, I even brought in some of the laser cut borders. So there is actually a lot going on here, but I kind of put it all out to the edges of the layout so that my focus could still be on the 6 photos that I got on this layout. This is layout number 2, and I did neglect to mention with layout number 1 that there is a process video for layout number 1 over here on YouTube. So you can go check that out. For layout number 2, I have a full line of photos over here. This holds a lot of vertical photos. I'm noticing with my phone, I'm taking a lot more vertical photos. So I thought this one's going to make it super easy by putting all the photos going vertical and then one little extra bonus photo down here. I have a nice big embellishment cluster up here where I've used embellishments and stickers as well as the matte pack. So with the playful and polished layouts, I do bring in the matte packs. Again, I brought in my favorite tag punch over here, this time as an embellishment cluster base. Again, some little trees from the evergreen border punch. A compass. I'm just bringing in lots and lots of tools. I use the compass punch as well as citrus slice border making cartridge over here. If you didn't have any of those, I feel like they could all be easily substituted. Again, I have a trail sign. Of course, the trail signs go so perfectly with this collection, so you'll see I popped it in wherever I could. And then I did something very playful. The embellishment pack had some of these. I looked at them as journaling boxes. I guess they could be either embellishment cluster bases or journaling spots. And so I thought I wanted to get one of those used as a journaling area down here. Other than that, I brought in some stickers to help finish off my layout. And you'll notice up here, I did bring in the tab punch because I thought that it needed a little something up here at the top. And I thought that would be a perfect place to put the date. And that's layout number 2. And here's layout number 3. And I just think this is just some all around good fun on this layout. And it's all about just having fun with some of our punches and our embellishments. So let's start with the photos. I have the photos going down here horizontally this time, and one big focal photo right here. This would be my main photo that I kind of want to highlight. Then I did a bunch of decorating around the photos. The basic design is super simple. It's a half and half design. It just has been elevated up to look a little bit more, well, elevated. So here to cover up the seam, you'll see that I brought in some of the Creative Memories wood grain washi tape. I just thought that it was nice to have a different texture and transition between those two papers. And then I did the same thing over here. Here I used a matte card. This was the center of the matte card, which I fussy cut out. I just put a little piece of washi tape, like as if it were a sign being hung up by a trailhead or something. And then very happy with these elements right here because this is a laser cut border that I trimmed down. And then I created a little scene, and you'll see I repeated the scene on both sides. So I have the mossy log laser cut border. I brought in our old mushroom punch. I love that punch. We don't get a lot of use out of it, so I thought this collection is perfect for that mushroom border punch. So I punched out some mushrooms. I kept it in brown, so I didn't want it to take away too much, but you could really get creative with this if you wanted to add even more accents than I did here. And of course, I brought in the little owl again. If that's not your thing, I think it could easily be removed, and this layout would be just as nice. For the journaling spot, I brought in a half of a matte card over here. But I do feel like if you wanted to add even more photos, you can maybe replace this one and then maybe write your journaling off to the side. There's options with this layout. I hope you like that one as much as I do. Okay, we're back with another playful layout. And before I share layout number 4, if you are enjoying this layout share, if you would please take the opportunity to click that like button. It really does help to spread my content throughout YouTube, and I really appreciate each and every time that you do click the like button. So thank you so much. Okay, layout number 4. Again, a very easy background to complete. What really elevates this up is the use of the tools and the embellishments, but this is actually a very easy layout. I have all the photos lined up here in a row. I do feel like you can maybe get a little bit bigger photo on here, but this page I wanted the photos to be consistent with the page over here. Again, my big focal photo here using one of those nice big beautiful frames that come with the embellishments. This frame here has a velvety feel to the leaves, so I brought that in over here as well. So even though you won't feel it with your page protector on, it gives it the look of more texture to your layout. So I ran that through to the other side. Again, I had some leftover leaves from that laser cut border, so they were perfect for just kind of spreading out my embellishment cluster. This here is actually a frame from the embellishments, and behind it I cut down a mat card. So lots of mat cards used, lots of embellishments, and of course the stickers are used as well. Across the top here, this is the tree line punch. I made it green on purpose so that it will kind of fade into the background and not overly distract from the photos. And then I tucked in a little camera here from the Shutter Love border making cartridge. You know I love to do that, and I use it almost like a handheld punch. I'll punch out 1 or 2 and then keep them with the collection until I'm done, and then they get put in my box. So I love to do that and just pop it in wherever. Here I'm using the half matte card over here for journaling, and other than that, it's just beautiful because of all the beautiful pattern paper that we used. I used a combination of the textured pack and the designer paper pack. Okay, layout number 5. I love this one. I got a ton of photos on, but you know, sometimes when you get a lot of photos, you do have to trim them down a little bit. If you have bigger photos, I do think that you have room here. I would just make my mats, my photo mats bigger as well, and then maybe only one up here, and it can even take a horizontal photo. Over here I have a little bit bigger photos, and this is just a look I like to do where I have a more playful, loaded up layout on one side and then a more straightforward layout on the other side. So again, a very easy background, basically one whole sheet of paper just cut up for both sides, and then some textured paper brought in as well as designer paper just to give it that really outdoorsy feel. Over here I have a nice big title cluster where I used a big mat card, and a second mat card was used for the title, and I just trimmed it out and put the title here on top of one of these gorgeous large embellishments that came in the embellishment pack, and then a few smaller elements to kind of make it all blend nicely together. Over here, I wanted to bring in more of the circles. Once I add a circle, I want to make sure it's evenly distributed throughout my layout. So I have another nice log embellishment here, but this would actually be a spot for a photo. Again, I brought in that tree line punch we used on the previous layout and just did a little piece, then put some more words up there, some words and stickers down here. And with my journaling box, this time I felt like it needed to be a little popped out so that we see it down there, and so I put a little piece of hot fudge dark brown cardstock behind it to give it a little pop and to bring in some of the darker brown from the first page. I absolutely love the textured log piece down here. It's a little overwhelming, but in small chunks, perfect. So like I said, with this Playful and Polished set, I did make a 6th bonus layout. I like to call it that because I always say I'll do 5, and if I have materials left, which I did in this case, I thought, why not make a 6th page? I think this one is super fun, and the reason I went ahead and created a 6th page is because I wanted to get in some more of those mat cards. Now let's start with the background though. So I have the pine cone paper back here. It's very subtle, but it gives it that outdoors feeling as if you're walking right on the ground. And I have that with a beige cardstock as the base, and then some strips running horizontally across the bottom only. Then across the top up here, I used the matte cards. So what happened was I had a few that had the guts taken out. I used them in previous layouts. This one actually I cut out and put right down here for my title. Those two were not touched, so they're whole, but you just cover this up with a photo and nobody would know. And I had 2 of each matte, so I thought it was perfect that I can have the logs and the green leaf matte card, so it made it a nice balanced layout. Up here I used a punch out from the Evergreen Trees border punch. I punched 1 strip and then cut it down so that I would have just a section that housed 2 rows of trees. Then I took some of the scrap of this gingham, punched out just the trees, and I have that actually popped up on a little bit of foam, so they're popping up out of the original punch. It's just that minor detail. You can kind of see it looks like a shadow. You could also do that right onto cardstock as well. I just thought the spacing and everything on the punch were so perfect. It's such a fun technique. Okay, down here again, I pulled in some more of the embellishments. Like I said, that came from the matte card. Again, I'm using one of those beautiful log pieces for my journaling area, and then brought in some more stickers and another punch out from the Evergreen Tree border punch. And I feel like you can even sneak on another horizontal photo here if you wanted to, but I like the clean look of this and that it just goes straight across. So there you go. That is my layout share for Deeper in the Woods. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you jump over to my blog and see how you can get my cutting guide for either the Quick and Cute or the Playful and Polished. And then I'll be back real soon with another video. I'm actually working on finishing up those intermediate go-to designs. So until then, everybody, take care, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.